What's up, wellness junkies? It's the girl with the business brain and yoga body, Sabrina Zealous, welcoming you to Yoga Socialite. This is the place where asana meets aesthetic, so we're here for the good vibes, the cute fits, and the real talk. Let's get into it. What's up, wellness junkies, and welcome back to the pod. Today's podcast episode is called the Socialite Spill, and it's going to just be a recap from the last couple episodes, as well as just life updates. It's us kicking it. It's bestie time. So curl up with some tea and get ready for the Socialite Spill. See what I did there? Tea, spill. I mean, it's magical. Speaking of tea, I just got this teacup from my good friend Pam as part of my Christmas present, and I love it. I love like the little tricolor. I love monochromatic everything. I just love everything. So yay, thanks Pammy. Anywho, so as I mentioned, we are gonna go through a little recap of the last 3 episodes. And I'm gonna do this at the end of each month, just getting any Q&A from you all about, you see how I did that? I'm a Texan, so I say y'all, but I did say you all. I changed it up on you. Just getting a little Q&A from anyone that has questions. And I'm doing this mainly through my Instagram. My Instagram is where I have my largest following. It's my happy place. So if you are not following me on Instagram, why not follow me at Yoga Socialite? Here is my Instagram page, so you know it's really me. And you can also comment on Spotify. If you listen to this on Spotify, there's a Q&A section at the end of every episode on Spotify. So you can comment there, or you can just comment in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. So let's do a couple little life updates. Let's kick it, let's chill. My abs are on fire. You can see my little 4-pack. I'm just really proud of that. 'Tis the season for a 4-pack. Let me just share a little bit about what's going on with me this month. And this actually goes into one of the questions from the last podcast, but I have had such a busy December. Is it just me, or does it feel like this year went by so quickly? And I know people sometimes say that every year. This year really feels like it just like whoosh, it went by so freaking quick. Oh my gosh, it's insane. But I've had so many blessings this year, like bringing back the podcast. I'm feeling more into myself, getting more into my creativity, my content creation, my whole vibe. So it's really nice to give back to myself. And one of the things I hinted at the last podcast is that I had like this big meeting, and then I forgot to tell y'all what the big meeting was. And so many people called me out on Instagram for it. They're like, what was the big meeting? I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for listening. That was me checking that y'all were listening all the way through, okay? So the big meeting was our yoga studio is leading a class for a big zoo out here, and it's like a New Year's Day kind of class, and we're very excited. It's members only, so make sure to check your email if you're a Living Desert member, because all the details are in there and you have to RSVP for it. But I'm so freaking excited, and I got to go and just like tour where I was going to teach at. And I got to feed the giraffes. If you don't know, and I'm gonna try to find a picture and put it here, I love giraffes. I dressed up as a giraffe for Halloween many moons ago. I feel like I am a giraffe if I was an animal because I'm very long-limbed. I've got really good eyelashes and big eyes. I've got freckles. I just feel like I would be a giraffe. So this was like so freaking awesome. And there's a few things when you feed a giraffe that you don't know. So here's the tea about that. You have to like be mindful that this is like a wild animal. Like, yes, a giraffe's like nice and it's an herbivore, but like it's a wild animal. You cannot turn your back on the giraffe. You cannot, because he will nudge you for more food. And sometimes a little nudge from him would be like a full concussion for us. Okay, so there's things you got to know about the giraffe. You can't pet him, which I was sad about, but just the moment. And I forgot to record me feeding the giraffe. Why? I don't know. But yeah, I'll put a little video of
the person behind me feeding it in there. And if I don't put that video right there, I'll just put a video, I'll go cut all that out and just have the giraffe so you can see how close me and the giraffe were. Besties, speaking of besties, me and the giraffe. So that's really what's going on with me this month. That we've had a beautiful month at the studio. We had a really great open house. Personally, I feel like this month has just sped by so quickly. I am not going to Texas like I normally do. I usually go to Texas every Christmas, and I'm gonna miss my Texas besties this Christmas, but I will be home soon, and I'm really excited about that trip so I can kind of not have that, again, like I've mentioned before, that chaos energy around the holidays, and just like get to really enjoy like spending time with my family. So I'm really excited about that. What else has been going on? I want to get to the Q&A, but I want to also just like catch up with y'all, you know? Let's see. I think we're going to get into the Q&A, but I was trying to think if there was anything else. I feel like there was something else that I was going to tell y'all, and then I totes forgot. Oh well. It'll come to me and I'll just throw it in at the end. I will say I have not had a matcha. Y'all know how I am about the matcha, but I am having a little mixed tea. I'm doing an herbal tea today, and it's green tea as well as mint. So it's like an herbal mint green tea. And I had this before. Someone makes it, like a mint green tea. I can't remember who makes it, so I just put 2 tea bags in there. Cheers. Cheers. Okay. If you know where that saying came from, what movie that is, comment it down below because it's legit. I love that movie, and we're probably more kindred spirits than we even know. So here is our Q&A from the Spirit of Complaining podcast, which I changed the name of it, but that was like the overarching thing, our complaining pod. Here are a couple questions that y'all had for that. So what are some specific ways you've noticed society glorifying negativity? As I mentioned, the comment section in anything, TikTok, Instagram, I mentioned Nara Smith's comment section. Like that's what really got me, is that this lady is just cooking food for her kids and her family and enjoying it. And if you know anything about her story, like she has some like health things, that's why she's cooking in the first place. Like, and so it's just so funny that people get so grumpy about that. So that's where I first really noticed it. But also just look at our news over the past decade. It's just shifted so much from actual news stories to like more celebrity gossip. I mean, TMZ. My second question from that pod is, and I just picked the best 4 questions, or I tried to pick, I don't want to say someone's question was not the best question. My bad, let me reel that back. Not that your questions weren't the best questions. I tried to pick questions that several people had so that when we go through this, your most questions are going to be answered, if that makes sense. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel so bad. If your question was not picked, it is not because you didn't have a great question. It's simply because there was several people asking the same question, and I also wanted to make this short and sweet. You know how I like to do things. How have I personally redirected negative comments that stick in my mind? It's so funny reading this. I automatically thought of this negative comment from some like troll I got many moons ago. Like I wasn't even a content creator there. I was still just posting like random pictures on Instagram. And if some of you know, I didn't even make my own Instagram. My friend, Dr. Danielle Bell, as she likes to call herself, that unofficial doctor, Dr. Danielle Bell, she made my Instagram for me. We were going out one night and she grabbed my phone. I had like refused to get on Instagram, which is so funny because now I love it. She grabbed my phone, she made me an Instagram. She's like, here, there you go, post some pictures. And so that's how I even got on Instagram. But this was back in the day before, I was really trying to be a creator or anything. And I remember posting this picture, and I've always been compared to like Lisa Bonet in friends groups because clearly the hair, the big eyes,
Though Lisa Bonet has one of those really sweet, soft voices.
I wish I had one of those voices. I have a very Valley Girl meets Southern Belle voice, but I remember someone had put like, oh, Lisa Bonet reincarnated, like a friend of mine. And then some guy out of nowhere came, commented on the post and was like, she's not Lisa Bonet. This girl's full black. I'm like, first of all, what? What is this comment, bro? Like, I remember just being like, what does me being full black mean that I can't be like a Lisa Bonet vibe? Like, what, bro? So anyway, some random person that didn't even follow me on Instagram that just came out of nowhere and decided to comment that on my friend's comment. Just, so I think about that. So the negative comments stick in your brain. I have the best memory in the world, which is a blessing and a curse. That's something that came to mind. And I've had other trolls on comments too, you know, and I can't think of any specifically right now, but I've had like, you know, when I was doing my online courses, like someone would troll or something like that. Can't think of any specific one besides that one, because I remember being like, bro, you came out of nowhere. Like, geez, you don't even follow me. But, what you have to do is, I think I thanked him. I love thanking people. Like, it's like when people get road rage, I always give people a thumbs up. I never give people a finger. I'm always like, yeah, way for road rage. And they're so confused by my like, hi, or like my thumbs up that they don't even know what to do with themselves. And so that's kind of how I treat negative comments. Like, one, thank you for adding nowadays. If you've added a negative comment, thank you so much, because you have also just added some engagement on my post. So I appreciate you. And I also usually, if it's someone that's like toxic, block them. But if not, just maybe comment on there. Sometimes I like to, you know, go with them. Like, oh, that's so interesting. Thanks for sharing your opinion on someone's page that you've never met before. Thanks for spamming by. I love doing stuff like that. So that's how I deal with it. And if it's something that really bothers you, ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Why am I letting this comment from someone that usually you don't know? It's always usually someone you don't know. Why am I letting this bother me? And say, I release this comment from myself. This comment is not serving me, and I release this comment from myself. By the way, one of my little lights just turned off behind me, so if my lighting got strange, 'tis why, my bad. I'm gonna switch this light just a little bit over to kind of counteract that the other light turned off. I hope that's okay. Okay, we're gonna keep it rolling. Do you think that social media platforms have a responsibility to curb negativity? I do. I mean, these social media platforms were not around back in the day. That's why bullying has gotten so out of hand, because now the bullying doesn't stay in the school. It follows them home onto social and Snapchats. And I'm so thankful, because I was bullied for like, I want to say 7th and 8th grade. By 9th grade, it had kind of stopped, but I got bullied for being too whitewashed. And I'm like, y'all, really? It's so funny, because I'm really good friends with the people that used to bully me in 7th and 8th grade. As we evolved and grown up, I'm friends with them now to this day. But it's funny because I'm like, we grew up in a town. I'm from Midland, Odessa. Have y'all seen Landman? If you haven't watched Landman, that new Billy Bob Thornton movie series, it's fabulous. It has such great actors in it. And also, it's about my town. Loves it. If you've ever seen Friday Night Lights, that's my town. So we have, when I lived in my town, I want to say we had 2% black people. And people were giving me crap like, I don't know why you have to talk so proper. She's trying to be white. I remember being bullied for that. And I was like, bro, where do you think we live? Sorry. Anywho, so I do think that you have to, platforms, I went off on a tangent, my apologies. But this is us kicking back. This is us chilling. So tangents are going to happen. I do think that platforms should curb negativity. I think that it should limit comments, or also like hide. You know, I think now like Instagram hides comments that could be negative, and I like that. Keep that energy somewhere else, bro. Ask yourself why you feel the need to leave a negative comment. I think about this with Jessica Simpson. I was watching an actual news program. I want to say it was like ABC News. It was one of their clips. And they were talking about the comment section of Jessica Simpson. I love Jessica Simpson. Read her biography. Do it on audiobooks. Listen to her autobiography on audiobooks because she voices it. And you can hear the passion in her voice and the moments and those experiences in her voice. Give Jessica Simpson a break, folks. Give people grace, folks. People were commenting on her appearance. First of all, fat shamed her. Now you come back through and you are giving her crap for being skinny. She was always skinny. Like, what? What is going on in the world? So it's just so funny. Moments like that. Okay. How can I build a habit of practicing gratitude daily? They have an actual gratitude journal. You can get it on Amazon. You could get it at Barnes & Noble, any probably local bookstore. And it's called the 5-Minute Journal. And I used to have one. I actually still have one. It's in my closet right now. I don't often use it. It tells you 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you need that would make you that would make your day if you got them completed. And then at the end of the day, you follow up with that. But you can type that yourself. You can open the notes section of your phone. I was looking for my phone, but I have my handy dandy iPad. You can open the notes section of your handy dandy iPad or your phone and jot down 3 things you're grateful for each day, and then come back to that at the end of the day. And when you're going through stuff, read the stuff that you're grateful for. You might even start to make a photo album. I just thought of this. Create a photo album of things that you are grateful for, and moments you're grateful for, and then scroll back through them. Do it. Let me know how it goes. All right. Moving right along. I'm hungry, y'all. What's funny is that I'm hungry, but I literally just had a muffin, half a muffin. I had half a muffin, a yogurt, and I'm having this tea. I think I'm going to make eggs with a croissant and put avocado on top. It's like my thing. I can make breakfast foods. I am not by any means a cook. Thank God my honey cooks for me. Okay, namaste and no thanks. Setting boundaries in the yoga community. Here are our questions from that episode. What's one boundary you set recently that's made a big difference in your well-being? Wow. That's an interesting question. I think one of the boundaries I set recently is not taking work stuff home. I set this boundary that when I get home, when my shoes come off at the front door, that's when the yoga studio gets turned off. That's a big boundary, and it took me a little while to get to that place. It took me a little while, one, because I was so used to working for myself, and then I had to, I put all of my things on hold, and now I'm bringing them back. But I did that so that I could give 110% to the studio and get it to where I need it to be. And then it became so much, it became an extension of me. And I had to set that boundary to stop taking this stuff home. So at a certain point of the night, or certain parts of the day, I don't respond to studio-related questions, especially if I'm off. If it's during my off time, I will respond to you at my earliest convenience when I can hold space for that. So that's a big boundary for me. How do I handle guilt or anxiety when I have to tell someone no? I think that's a deeper question. I think you have that. This question came up a couple different ways. You have to assess, why are you getting this guilt or anxiety around telling someone no? You might have the energy of people pleasing, or your lack confrontation. Not all confrontation is bad, folks. Confrontation can be good to get you to a desired result if it is handled in a way that is constructive. But you also have to become a habit of saying no. Sometimes you have to say no. Someone asked me something the other day and I said, no. I love that for you, but no, not for me. You have to get in the habit of saying no. Our hummingbird friend is back, which, I just love that he comes by when we're doing the pod. Next time I'll flip the camera around so he gets a cameo. Are there any warning signs that someone may not respect your boundaries? Oh my gosh, yes. When you say that no, they continue to push you until they get the result that they want. They gaslight you. They say, oh yeah, okay, I totally get that. And then they still force you into a situation where you're not comfortable. And sometimes we look at things with rose-colored glasses because they make our red flags disappear. And you can't do that. You have to really take a moment, step back, and assess the situation as if you are the person from the outside looking in. Are you, if this was happening to a friend of yours, how would you give advice to that friend? Because a lot of times we allow things to happen to us that we wouldn't allow to happen to other people. What's your advice for communicating boundaries without creating the drama? I think you just have to come from a place of kindness when you're communicating your boundaries. You need to come from a place of where you want this person to understand you, and you also have to know when to be quiet. Sometimes the best thing you can do to communicate a boundary is just go ghost. And sometimes being quiet is a way to hold a boundary as well. Be mindful of what you say and respond in mindfulness. Okay. Manifestation or Delulu? There were a lot of questions regarding this one. And the really cool thing about the manifestation and the Delulu, oh, whoa, the Pivo pod went crazy because I put my leg up. The real thing about that, that video is popping on Spotify and YouTube. I haven't looked at my numbers for Apple Podcasts or the other ones. I look at Spotify and YouTube because those are the two places I go to, but it's popping. I should put my leg down. My goodness. My cameraman, aka the Pivo pod, is not happy with my leg up. My bad. I was trying to get comfy. I have a lot of questions from that, and the little mini clips are doing so good. So thank you all for being so interested in that, and thank you all for voting for that topic. Again, follow me on Instagram so you can be in the day-to-day know, because people vote on these topics and what we're going to cover. So how do you use vision boards effectively without losing sight of reality? I had this question in several different variances. And one thing I want to say, and it's pretty simple, is to treat it like a living organism. So don't put, I'm going to make $10 million this year, and then assume that the $10 million, again, going to manifestation, is just going to drop out of the sky. If you're going to try to make $10 million that year, then you need to have realistic things on your vision board that are going to lead you to that. And I would also start in a place to where it is obtainable. If you're going to try to make $10 million this year, but you make $20 an hour, we might need to talk about some other goals for you to get you to that place. You see what I'm saying? But treat it as a living organism. So as you are going through your vision board, as you start to achieve things, you might take that off the vision board. You might leave it on so you can be like, oh my gosh, I achieved it. But you might also add something in that place to take you to a new level, or add something else in there. Also, I used to say when I would do vision board parties, and many of you asked for me to bring that back, so I might. I'll let you all know in the next couple weeks, once we get past Christmas and New Year's. But let me not go off on a tangent there. When I used to host vision board parties, I remember telling people would say, oh, if I didn't achieve something from last year, should I leave it on my board? And I would say, no, take it off, let's start fresh. Now I'm gonna say yes, because sometimes it takes you a little time to get to your goal. So I don't mind you leaving something on there from a previous year, but also reassess if that's actually something you wanna still achieve. Did I piss off the Pivo? Okay, it's still working. Thought I made it mad with that leg thing. It went crazy. It was where is she going? Okay. How do you handle guilt or anxiety? Oh wait, sorry y'all. Went to the other questions, my bad. You mentioned the Mel Robbins neurosurgeon podcast. What takeaways should we get from that? That came up a lot. Some of you didn't want to listen to that full podcast, which I really think you should, because he's going to give you so many key takeaways, and just hearing his story is very transformative. But the neurosurgeon's name is Dr. James R. Doty. And on the actual podcast, and I like to take notes sometimes when I listen to podcasts like that, because they're just that inspirational. My key takeaways from that is I want you to get a physical pencil or pen and write down, just like I'm talking about your I am affirmations that go along with your board. You get a physical pencil or pen and you write down, because doing it tactily helps with your brain. This is the science behind manifestation, y'all. So actually get a pen and piece of paper right now. You're going to want to take notes. I'm not even kidding. So take a moment, pause the video, grab a piece of paper, open up the notes section of your phone, because the sound's still going to be playing, and I want you to jot this down. So he recommends to get a physical pencil or pen and write down, because doing it tactile helps. And then you want to read it silently. So write out your manifestation. I like to do it as an I am statement. Personally, I've noticed that has helped me. Then you're going to read it silently. Then you read it out loud. Then visualize that. Then do it over and over and over, so it's embedded in your subconscious. And then from there, it starts to create activities and create experiences that will lead you to that manifestation. Now, that is what he said on the Mel Robbins podcast. I also did some more research and reading from Dr. Doty, and here is a longer list of things. So he said, write down your goals. So it's very similar to what I just said. Physically write down those goals, read your goals, visualize your goals, add feelings to the process, so that the visualization, how am I going to feel when I interview my first guest on the pod? What's that going to look like? How do I feel that? So I'm giving you that as an example. Engage your senses. I'm going to see the lights on me. I'm going to see the lights on my person. We're both going to have our microphones. I can hear their voice. I can hear the kindness in their voice as they share it. You start to visualize. What's that going to look like? Be patient and persistent. Take everything in stride. And then this goes into, Doty starts to explain that the manifestation is based on the idea that your thoughts, emotions, and actions attract what you want into your life. He calls it the process of embedding your intentions in your subconscious. So I hope you took notes on that. If not, save where this video is at and then play it back again so you can really get it in your head. Or Google it, because it'll pop up in Google if you Google James Doty and manifestation. Why is it important? Here we're going back to our question, just so you know, because I know that was a little long-winded. Why is it important to discern who you take manifestation advice from? We live in an age where everyone wants to be an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just giving you my life experiences. And I see this in the comment section a lot too, where people have had a similar experience to someone and they want to share what helped them through that. And I'm all for that. But sometimes people share things and they don't know the person's backstory. So let's say we never knew I lost my finger skiing. My finger got literally cut off when I was skiing. I would put a picture, but it just really gross. And it got sewn back on. So let's say there's a video of someone that just got stitches and someone's telling them how to take care of their stitches. And then I hop on and I go, oh my gosh, I lost my finger skiing. And this is what I did to take care of my stitches. But however, my stitch is on my finger. Their stitch is maybe on their forehead. Those are two different situations. And you don't always have to give that advice. Sometimes you need to ask people, do you want my advice? And I've been starting to ask people, do you want my advice? Do you want do you want to have a longer winded conversation about this? And then I can give them my advice. But sometimes you just have to let people share their stories. And we're not all experts. And sometimes people are experts in their field and they've had their life experiences and they've studied certain things. And I would gauge to them. So instead of necessarily listening to, I'm going to teach you how to manifest in 10 days, $10,000, girl on TikTok, maybe read something from Dr. James Doty, who is an actual neurosurgeon and teaches you the science behind it. That's all I'm saying. It's up to you. Okay, last question. How do you stay grounded while chasing big dreams? I don't think that you get to get your big dream unless you stay grounded. Pride comes before a fall. And you want to stay grounded, stay humble, one, so that you're in a place of higher vibrational energy to call in and receive that big dream. But also, once you receive or get to your big dream, there will be another big dream for you. And so if you don't stay grounded, you can lose sight of the fact that you just accomplished that big dream or got to that place. Does that make sense? And let me know once not once you've watched this whole video, if your question was on here and you need a little more follow-up, send me a DM and I'll send you a voice note of if we need a deeper conversation. But that's how I feel about that. So I also have a few general podcast Q&A. This is longer than I thought. We're at 30 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up. This is the longest pod we've had. So let's see. What's the most surprising thing you've learned about yourself through this podcast? Good question. I should have prepared for these questions, but I wanted to do them kind of real time. One thing that I learned about myself is how much I really do enjoy being in front of the camera. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I truly mean that from, my degree is in communications. It's in public relations. My focus was on public relations, but I did take journalism classes as part of my communications degree. And I remember my teacher, Dr. Proctor, would be like, Zealous, I want you to be the local news anchor. You would be great on the news. This is what we're going to do. You're going to go back to Midland. You're going to be there for 2 years and you're going to come back to Dallas and we're going to make you a news anchor. And I was like, no, thanks, Dr. Proctor. That's not my vibe. At the time, that's when being a PR girly meant you were doing huge parties and big events. And think about Heidi from The Hills when she was doing PR. That was her job. That's what I wanted. That's what I envisioned, And then we had a recession when I graduated. That tells you how long I graduated. We had a recession when I graduated, and that did not happen. So, but it was really funny. He always wanted me to kind of be in front of the camera, and it was before podcasts were really a thing. So I don't even think podcasts were a thing then. So to be honest with you, I think we had news talk shows and then radio shows. But before podcasts were a thing, he wanted me to do that. And so this is, he was right. I do enjoy that. I don't think I would enjoy it on a scale of being a news anchor, but I do enjoy it in this context where I get to find the topics that I really love to chat about. So that's something that surprised me. And how much I missed this. That's something that really surprised me, how much this gives my life joy. It's a lot of work to edit this. I do all the editing and stuff myself. Edit, add in those extra clips, add in the funny little memes and stuff in there, and then get it uploaded to all the different sites. But it's worth it because it's giving back to myself. Helping others is also helping me in a way. You see what I'm saying? Hope that makes sense. Where did the name Yoga Socialite come from? This is a name I've been playing with for a few years. My girlfriends would tell you, because when I was doing my name changes, Yoga Socialite was one of the names that I had on there. I feel like it encompasses me, really. I'm a yogi. Yes, I love teaching yoga. I love the whole energetic vibe of yoga. I love yoga. It's a lifestyle for me. I mean, clearly, I work at a yoga studio. Hello. But I also have this part of me that I love to go to fashion shows. I've been in fashion shows. I love designer bags and designer goods. I love really good clothing. I'm a shopper. There's this part of me that's I think when I think of socialite, I think of Paris Hilton. I think of Morgan McGraw. I think her. I think everyone from Rich Kids of Beverly Hills. I just think of that energy. I think Cher from Clueless would have been a socialite if she was a real person. So I think of that energy, and that's my kind of energy too. The two can coincide. Just because I'm a yogi and I like to have designer shoes or a designer bag does not make me any less of a yogi. I did the whole thing of selling all my Louis Vuittons and only carrying Mingo leather and only eating such and such, and I did all of that. And then I realized I was missing out on parts of life that I enjoyed. And if that fits your energetic vibe for yoga and that's where your journey takes you, I am so supportive of that. I feel it. But if your journey also takes you of this duality of living in our present times and also loving yoga, I'm here for that too. So that's where Yoga Socialite came from. I love that it was kind of almost an oxymoron. It was like, isn't that ironic? Yoga and a socialite, you know what I mean? So I just thought that was good. I've been playing with that name for a while, and I'm so glad I brought it. And I changed the name of the podcast because just my overarching brand, I wanted to be able to share my life as well as topics on here. And with Wealthy Moves, I felt like it was only about entrepreneurship, and that can get old quick. So I love being able to have a wide range to chat about. Okay, our last question. If I could have any guest on Yoga Socialite, who would it be? Holy cow, that's hard, y'all. Ooh, I already have one guest in mind, my dear friend Kaya Knight, who is part of Air Bar Fit. Find them on social. I'll put a little picture of Air Bar Fit here. I adore Kaya, and me and her just vibe. And when we get to talking, we get to talking. We'll probably do the whole pod in fur jackets because we got this thing with fur jackets, and we also have matching bodysuits. So maybe we'll each do like our matching bodysuit and a jackie. We'll see. That was me putting on the jacket, just so y'all know. Anywho, but besides my girl Kaya, because that's kind of a given guest, I don't know I'm thinking, I wish I could think of someone like big to put on here. I don't know, to be honest. Who would y'all want to see? Let's turn that question back around. Who would you want to see for the pod? And let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll put it. Okay. That's it. That's today's pod. I hope that I answered the questions that we're supposed to answer. I hope that I didn't go off on too many tangents, but I kind of want to go off on some tangents because that's who I am, and I feel like it brings us closer together. And I want to thank you all for watching. I so love and appreciate you all. If you want to stay connected, definitely find me, Yoga Socialite, on any social media platform. Instagram is my happy place, so I would vote there. And I will see you on the next episode. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.